welcome to you all to this first class on this series of healthy ways to deal with anxiety. And of course, we're looking at it from the perspective of ACT, which is acceptance and commitment therapy. So in the class, we're wanting to take a look at effective ways to address anxiety. And maybe several of you, or maybe many of you who are watching this, you're here today, maybe you've had a problem with anxiety. So in today's class, we're going to be taking a look at what is anxiety, what are the symptoms, what are some maladaptive coping ways of dealing with anxiety, and then especially what is acceptance and commitment therapy, and how can it help us, those of us who have felt trapped or imprisoned with our anxiety. So the main thing that we want to communicate is if we stop and think about it, and we stop and think about our life, we all want to live a vital and meaningful life, don't we? We want our life to be vital. We want to be full of life and out there really living our life. And we want it to be meaningful. We want our life to stand for something. We want our life to be based on values. And so very much our class is about not really so much effective ways to deal with anxiety, although that's part of it. The real message is if we have suffered with anxiety and if we've been kind of entrapped by it or imprisoned by our anxiety, how can we live a vital and meaningful life? And another key thing to share with you is that we can do that even when we're feeling anxious. In other words, today we're going to be talking about how can I have my anxiety without my anxiety having me, okay? So stop and think about that for a minute. How to have my anxiety without my anxiety having me. What that really means is, how can I live my life based on my values and not have my anxiety make my decision for me about my self-esteem or whether or not I can work or what kind of a job I'll have or whether or not I'm going to ask somebody out on a date or anything like that. How can I have my life even if I'm feeling anxious? A lot of us, we've made the mistake in the past. We've said, oh, when I don't have my anxiety, then I'll do this, okay? We've said, when I don't have my anxiety, then I'll do this. And we want to turn that around because what really works is not when I don't have my anxiety, I'll do this. What works is, no, I'll do this and then I won't have my anxiety, okay? So I'll do this and then I won't have my anxiety. That's where the acceptance, commitment, and therapy comes in. Taking action. So one of the first things I want to share with you is anxiety is not the problem. Now, for those of us that have had anxiety, we want to say, what do you mean anxiety is not the problem? So what the problem has been is that we have attempted to control our anxiety. So the very things that we said, oh, I'm feeling anxious, I'm going to do this to control it or try to avoid it. That has ended up making our anxiety worse, and we're going to spend some time in our class now taking a look at how we've been doing that and how we can do something differently. So what is the real problem? The real problem is that we have attempted to control our anxiety or we've attempted to avoid it. And we've developed what might be called an anxiety disorder. So when is anxiety a disorder? Anxiety is a disorder when it gets in the way of our functioning. So all of us, we want to function in our lives. We want to have a full life. But sometimes our anxiety has kept us back from living a full life. So anxiety is a disorder or it's a problem when it cuts into our living our full life in terms of our relationships, in terms of our family, our work, our career, our self-esteem, all those dimensions of life and living. That's when it's a problem. So what is the solution then? What is the solution? And you'll see that you have in your handouts, and we also want to show this on the videotape, this is the little key to acceptance and commitment therapy. This is a key to how you can work with your anxiety and have a great life. So let's take a look at this. This is like a little cheat sheet. And sometimes people will put this on their refrigerator or put this on their mirror to remind them of some key concepts. So the first key concept here is this big bluebird, the bluebird of happiness. That in fact, we all want to be happy. We want to live vital, meaningful lives. And we can do that whether or not we are feeling anxiety. So how can we do that? We would ask ourselves. Well, one of the first things we want to do, and you'll see this with the pair of glasses there, we need to change our perspective on anxiety. We need to change our perspective on anxiety. In other words, one of the things we want to say is, when we're feeling anxious, instead of trying to make it go away, we want to accept it and accept ourselves and say, you know what, I'm feeling my anxiety right now, and that's okay. I don't need to push. And that's our next symbol, is the beach ball, huh? I don't need to push that beach ball underwater. I don't need to push my anxiety underwater. I don't need to push it underwater. I can go ahead and just let it sit there on top of the water. I can just let it be there. So I can let my thoughts and feelings come up. I can let my anxiety be there. And what we find is it's not as scary as we thought it was. So we get a new perspective with our glasses. And then with the beach ball, instead of pressing it underwater, we let it come up. We let it come up. And what we find is, although some of our anxieties, our anxiety about our self-esteem, our social anxiety, things that we've been afraid of, those thoughts and feelings come up. The other thing that comes up is a deep desire that we also have been pushing down, a deep desire to be really alive and live fully and to have a good life. That comes up too. So I was talking with you about acceptance, and of course here on our little handout, and then also here like in person, our Chinese finger trap, huh? And those of us that were kids on the playground in first or second or third grade and somebody tricked us and said, here, let me put these on your fingers and let's see you try to get out of them. We found out, didn't we, that the harder we try to pull, the harder we resist it, the worse it gets, huh? Stop and think about that and apply that to your anxiety, you guys. When we're feeling anxious, if we can just accept it and say, okay, I'm feeling really anxious right now. I accept my anxious thoughts. I accept my anxious feelings. I accept what's going on around me that's making me feel anxious. Then we're free. We can pull ourselves out of that situation. We kind of free ourselves up to act on our values. But the more we struggle against it and say, I don't want to be anxious. I hate this anxiety stuff. I can't stand this. I have to do something to make it go away. I have to hide under the covers. I need to drink alcohol. I need to smoke marijuana. I need to gamble. I can't go out and apply for a job or ask somebody on a date. The more we try to avoid it, the worse it gets, the more we trap ourselves. And so we want to go ahead and accept it, you guys, and by accepting it, then we have freedom. And then when we have freedom, you'll see up here in the corner, 1, 2, 3. And what that is a reminder in this whole worksheet, in part of ACT therapy, the 1, 2, 3 is an important part of dealing with our anxiety and really living our lives. And the 1, 2, 3 stands for, what are 3 important things in your life that maybe your anxiety has stifled you or it's held you back from achieving? What are 3 important values? To be a loving parent, to be a loving spouse, to be a good friend, to be out, to learn to do art, to go to a movie, to apply for a job, to ask someone out on a date. What are some things that are important to you in your life, and maybe your anxiety has held you back? So it's about, we all want to be happy and vital. We need to change our perspective on anxiety. That anxiety doesn't have to run our life anymore. And with the Chinese finger trap, first of all, we accept what comes up with the beach ball. Here's a little beach ball here. We accept what comes up when we let the beach ball come up. And then we choose our values. What's most important to me? And then we do Nike therapy. We do it anyway. Even though I feel anxious, I go ahead and do what's really important to me. Now, what I would like us to take a look at now, probably you want to review, when we're talking about anxiety, you guys, what are we talking about? So if we turn to this page that says anxiety symptoms, some people have taken this class before and they felt a number of these things, but they never really identified it like, wow, that's my anxiety. I didn't really know that. So let's take a look at this. Feeling nervous. So, and again, as we go through this, you want to do a mental checklist and say, well, is this true for me? Do I have this? And how frequently do I have this? And how intense is it? So, feeling nervous, frequent worrying. Do I tremble a lot or feel shaky? Do I have muscle tension or muscle aches? Am I restless? Do I get tired easily? Do I have shortness of breath? You know, where I'm breathing so fast and I feel shortness of breath, almost like in a panic. Do I have a rapid heartbeat? Do I sweat a lot even when it's not hot? Do I have a dry mouth? Am I dizzy or lightheaded? Do I have nausea, diarrhea, or stomach problems? Do I have to urinate frequently? Do I have hot flashes or chills? Do I have trouble swallowing, or do I have a lump in my throat? Am I feeling all keyed up, or am I on edge frequently? Am I quick to startle, like if somebody comes up behind us and taps us on the shoulder, it really scares the heck out of us? Do we have a problem with concentrating? Trouble falling asleep or staying asleep? Are we irritable? Do we have a problem with irritability or anger? Sometimes people with anger management problems, what they really have is a problem with anxiety. Do I avoid places where I might be anxious? Am I afraid to go to classes, or am I afraid to go shopping in certain places or be with certain people? Do I have frequent thoughts of danger? Oh my gosh, I can't go there, I can't go here. Something bad's going to happen, and I know it's going to happen to me. Do I feel that I'm unable to cope? Do I feel overwhelmed, in other words, quite frequently? And then lastly, do I have frequent thoughts that something bad is going to happen to me or someone that I love? So as you look at this list is a description of when someone is feeling anxious, this is what's going on with us. And you might have identified 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 of these things that happen with you on a frequent basis. And if that's true, then you know that you have anxiety, huh? Now, when we have anxiety, we can respond to it in a healthy way or in an unhealthy way. Let's take a look at the bottom of the page. This is a list of unhealthy ways, unhealthy things that us human beings do, that when we have anxiety, again, pushing that beach ball underwater, which is an avoidance or control strategy. These are things that we do to try to avoid anxiety or try to control it. So, number 1, we avoid situations where we might be anxious. We don't go to social events. We avoid intimacy or closeness or letting people know who we are. We avoid crowds. We can't stand in line for a long period of time. We avoid the doctor's office. We don't drive, or we don't take a plane or a train. So those are some ways that anxiety might affect us, and we don't end up doing those things, like going to a doctor's office or standing in line at the grocery store, because our anxiety is too high. So we don't go to the grocery store, or we go there at 2 o'clock in the morning to go shopping. Number 2, being hypervigilant for signs of danger. Hypervigilant means we're always like this, huh? We're always keyed up. And we're always looking to make sure that we're safe because we feel that we're not. Number 3, sometimes when we're feeling anxious, we want to bring order into our life. And we feel like if there's order in our life, that we don't have anything to worry about. Sometimes this desire for order turns into a type of anxiety called obsessive compulsive disorder. And OCD means everything is all lined up. So if you walk into somebody's house, everything is exactly in its place. And if you touch one thing and try to move it, someone could get very upset. It's like, no, this is the way I like it. This is the way it has to be. So that's one of the ways that we try to cope with our anxiety, is by having that level of control. Number 4 is spending time only in safe spaces. So sometimes when that could also be called social anxiety or social phobia, couldn't it? And when we have social anxiety, that means I just stay at home. I just stay in my apartment. Or I just go to my best friend's house, or my brother's house, or my sister's apartment, or just to my church, or just to my one special AA meeting. But I can't go to these other places. I can only go to places that are safe. The other thing that we do is sometimes we won't go to certain places unless we have somebody with us. So we have our dog with us, or we have our best friend, or our brother, our sister, our mom. So when we go shopping or we go to a class, we make sure that we have this person with us. They're kind of like our security blanket, huh? Number 5, some people exercise over too much, like 2 or 3 or 4 hours a day. Because when we're feeling anxious, we have all this energy that kind of builds up inside. So some people actually do exercise for several hours a day to try to release that energy so they can have a sense of being relaxed. Number 6, we can oversleep. Some people with anxiety start sleeping 12 or 13 or 14 hours a day. Some people overeat without even thinking about it. They'll just go through the kitchen, or they'll go to a store and they'll just start shoveling down food without even thinking about it. It's called comfort food, right? So sometimes when we're anxious, we turn to food for comfort. We can take medications in a way that the doctors don't prescribe them. We take more medications than we're supposed to try to tamp down our anxiety. We get distracted by things that really don't make any difference. We watch TV, or we get involved in hobbies or gossip or some type of activities that really don't make any difference in our lives. We're really just trying to escape our lives no matter what. Number 9 is leaving the situation because we have acute anxiety. Sometimes if we go to Save Mart or Raley's or Walmart or Sam's Club and you see abandoned shopping carts along the line there, a lot of times those abandoned shopping carts are people that have been standing in line and they have a panic attack. And they have to leave their shopping cart there and walk outside the store because they're so anxious they have to leave. Or there have been people who go to a movie and 5 or 10 or 15 minutes into the movie, they get up and they have to leave because they can't stand to sit there and be in the movie. They're having a panic attack, which is a form of anxiety. Number 10, again, we're looking at maladaptive forms of coping, maladaptive ways of dealing with our anxiety. Number 10 is we turn to alcohol or marijuana or other drugs to take our anxiety away. Number 11, sometimes to deal with our anxiety, we assume the sick role. We say, oh, don't expect so much of me. You know I'm sick. You know I have anxiety. You know I have depression. You know I have bipolar disorder. You know I have alcoholism. Don't expect so much from me. I need you to do this. Don't try to make me. So in other words, we give up our responsibility and we assume the sick role in our families or with our friends. Number 12, again, don't think about it. In other words, so if something is happening in life and rather than really dealing with it, we just push it underwater. We push the beach ball underwater and we put our head under the ground like an ostrich, huh? And we try to pretend this really isn't happening. I don't want to have to deal with this. This is too much. Or number 13, sometimes when we're really anxious, we daydream a lot. Now, there's nothing wrong with daydreaming in and of itself. It's a nice part of life to fantasize once in a while. And some of the great inventors and a lot of the great artists, they daydream, didn't they? So that's a really nice thing. But some people actually spend so much of their time daydreaming because they want to avoid their life. They don't want to live in their real life. So we've just gone through some of the symptoms of anxiety, and then we've just gone through some of the maladaptive coping ways that we deal with anxiety. So if we've seen that we have a lot of the symptoms, and we've seen that, holy mackerel, I do a lot of things that we might call dysfunctional or maladaptive? What can I do to really deal with my anxiety in a healthy way? Let's go ahead and take a look at that now, you guys. And what I'm going to share with you are the key concepts of acceptance, choosing, committing, and taking action. So let's think of yourself right now and you're feeling anxious, okay? Something happens outside of you that pushes your button and you're feeling anxious. And you're feeling that inside, you're thinking that inside. So the first thing we want to do is accept, okay, I'm really anxious right now. We want to accept that. Okay, I'm having an anxiety reaction right now. The way I'm feeling or what's happening out there, I'm feeling anxious right now. And you know what? I tend to be kind of an anxious person. So I feel anxiety pretty easily. But I don't need to let that run my life. So I need to accept, and I'm going to accept right now, that I'm kind of an anxious person and that right now this is making me anxious. What's going on out there is making me anxious. And then I'm making myself anxious too by how I'm reacting to that. So that's the first thing. Do you hear that, you guys? We talk to ourselves and we accept, you know what? I'm really feeling anxious right now. Inside of myself and what's going on out there, I'm anxious right now. And then we tell ourselves, I'm okay. It's okay that I'm anxious. I don't like the way this feels, but it's okay that I'm feeling anxious. Now, what do I want to do about that? That's where the C comes in and act, A-C-T, act. We want to choose and commit to values. So the next thing we say, okay, I'm feeling anxious right now, but what's important to me? What do I want to do? Well, we might say, what's important to me right now is to show up for my son or my daughter or my grandchild or my spouse, to be with them. Or I need to go to Voc Rehab. I need to go to Social Security. I need to go to the welfare office. I need to go to the doctor's office. I need to sign up for this or sign up for that. My friends are expecting me to meet them at the art museum or go to the movie. I promised that I would go to an AA meeting or that I would go to a STARS co-occurring meeting. So what are my values? What's important to me? So we choose those values. And also, what kind of a person do I want to be? Do I want to have integrity? Do I want to be courageous? Do I want to be strong? Do I want to be honest? Do I want to be responsible? What kind of a person do I want to be? What values do I have about myself? How do I want to live my life? And then we choose those values. No, it's really important to me to be a good parent. So even though I'm anxious about going to the PTA meeting, I'm going to go. It's really important to me that I stay clean and sober and that I deal with my mental illness and I live up to my responsibility to take care of myself and the commitment I made to my sponsor. So I'm going to go to the Friday DRA meeting at noon today, even though I'm scared to go. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we accept what's going on inside of us. We choose and commit to our values. And then the next thing is we take action. In other words, Nike therapy, we do it. So again, we talk to ourselves and we say, you know what, I'm really anxious right now. I'm really scared. And a lot of times when I felt this anxious, I haven't done it. In being honest with myself, I have to admit, I didn't go to the PTA meeting. I didn't go to the movie. I didn't go talk to my doctor. I didn't go to the DRA meeting. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I didn't go to Social Security. I didn't go to Voc Rehab. I got sick. I made excuses. But this time it's going to be different. Because I want to live a vital life. I want to live a meaningful life. And even though I'm really anxious right now, and even though I'm shaking in my boots, I'm going to take that first step and I'm going to make myself do it. So that's what Nike therapy is we acknowledge I'm really scared right now, but you know what? I don't want to give in to my fear. So like we say, feel the fear and do it anyway. That's what we say to ourselves with the T part here, the take action, is to say, you know what? I am really scared right now, but gosh darn it, I want to live a life. I'm sick and tired of my anxiety imprisoning me and holding me down. I want to live a life, so I'm going to take that step forward, even though I'm scared. And as we take that step forward, we go to the PTA meeting, we go to Voc Rehab, we go to Social Security, we go to the movie, we go to the art museum, we go to spend time with our friend. We pick up the phone and make that phone call. Even though we might be anxious while we're doing it, deep down inside you guys, we feel really good about ourselves. We feel good about ourselves because you know what we say to ourselves? We say, even though I'm anxious, I'm still doing it anyway. Even though I'm anxious, I'm doing it anyway. So I'm in charge of my life now. My anxiety is no longer running my life. I'm in charge of my life now. So when we complete that activity, whatever it is, sometimes our anxiety is diminished. Sometimes it's not. We still might feel really anxious. But deep down inside, we say, you know what, it's okay. Because what I learned today by doing this is I can feel anxious and I can still have a life. And that's what we want, you guys, right? Is to have a life. To not let our anxiety run our life, whether it's OCD, social anxiety, general anxiety, PTSD, comorbid anxiety with depression, anxiety and alcoholism, anxiety and bipolar disorder, whatever it is, we're no longer letting that run our lives. And we feel great. We're saying, I'm having my anxiety instead of my anxiety having me. So what I'd like to do now is go ahead with you and go through, if we take a look at the back page of your handout, you can see there's a meditation called accepting, choosing, committing, and taking action. We've been talking about how it can be helpful to us to follow the main principles of acceptance and commitment therapy, where we accept, we choose and commit, and then we take action. And so we're mindful and we do our breathing and we let our thoughts and feelings come up. And then we take a look at them and we listen to them. And then we choose, is this something that I want to do something about? And then we plan a strategy and we take action. Or in listening to them, we realize there's nothing I can do about this today, so I'm just going to let this go. I'm going to let it go for today, and I'm going to focus on my other values. So what we're going to do right now, if you'll follow with me, is we're going to do a brief ACT meditation. And we're going to do it right here, right now in the class. It only takes about 4 minutes. I'm also going to ask you to practice this once a day, every day. But let's go ahead right now while we're in the class. What I'd ask you to do is sit in your chair with your feet on the ground. And again, you can do this any way you want. These are just suggestions. That you sit in your chair straight up, with your back straight up and your feet are on the ground. And your head's kind of like this. It's really straight up, like a string is pulling your head up. Then you kind of put your chin down a little bit. And then you either close your eyes so you can have some private space, or if you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, at least look down at the floor. You can keep your eyes open, but look down at the floor so you have a little private space. Now give yourself permission to engage in this ACT mindfulness exercise. And realize right now you're in a safe place with good people. And you can really relax, and you can let go. As we go through this meditation, there are 3 times where I'll ask you to stop and take a couple of deep breaths. And so at that time, I will stop reading, and we'll go ahead and take a couple of deep breaths together, okay? Okay, so feet on the floor, sitting straight up, eyes down, and let's get prepared to begin. Accepting, choosing, committing, and taking action. Accept what is as it is. Slowly take a few deep breaths right now. Just breathe in and breathe out. and breathe in and breathe out. Allow your thoughts and feelings to emerge and just be there. The ones you like and the ones you don't like. Take 3 more deep breaths right now. Breathe in and breathe out. Just let your thoughts and feelings be there. Take 3 more deep breaths right now. And let your thoughts and feelings be there. Not judging them and not trying to make them go away. Just let your thoughts and feelings be there. Accepting your thoughts and feelings does not mean you like them, and it doesn't mean you like the situation. Just let your thoughts and feelings be there. Let the situation be there. And then settle into accepting what is as it is. If you're having a hard time accepting what is as it is, go ahead and accept that you're having a hard time accepting what is as it is. That you really wish your thoughts or your feelings or the situation were different, but they're not. So you accept what is as it is. After you accept what is as it is, ask yourself, what's important to me? Do I want to change this? Do you want to change your perspective? Or do you want to change the situation? If you do, think about it and try to develop a plan and a strategy that can help you change this. And then if you feel like you have a good plan and a good strategy, go ahead and just do it. Do Nike therapy. Just do it. Don't procrastinate. Follow up with your plan. However, if you feel that you can't change the situation today, what you want to do is go ahead and just let it go. Let this situation go that you don't like. Let these feelings go that you're struggling with. Just let them go. Just let them go. Just let them go. Just let them be for today. Just let them be and be ready to move on. Think about your values and what else you'd like to do with your life. And go ahead and engage with life based on your values and what you really want to do. Now go ahead and take 3 more deep breaths. And in the next 10 seconds, when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and we'll move on with our class. Okay, let's move on with our class now. Okay, very good, very good. So it was great spending time with you guys today. And as you know, when I teach these classes, my hope for you is, in spending this time together, that there's one thing, and stop and think about that for a minute right now, okay? Was there one thing I got out of today's class that I can use to make my life better? Or maybe I can share this with somebody else, a family member or a friend, something I learned here that can make their life better. So one thing to make your life better, or one thing to make somebody else's life better. So I deeply appreciate the opportunity to spend this time with you. It was an honor to spend this time with you today. And I wish you all the very best.